Okay, so today we're going to talk about the dirty lowdown triple deal. Now, the dirty lowdown triple deal is a card trick. It's not a magic trick. There's no magic involved. I can show you how this trick works. You can show it to your friends, and there's no real magic skill, no sleight of hand involved. The point of this is to understand that, like magic tricks, you go, wow, that's neat how that happens. But when we talk about algorithms, you wonder, how does your phone know how to get you from here to there? How does this work? Once you know the algorithm, it's no longer magic. You own it. And so the idea of this card trick is to show you that once you understand something, you own it and you can go on. And the point of this class, Algorithms and Analysis, is once you understand it, you own it. So, what I'm going to do is let me show you my deck of cards. Okay, so now that we have our deck, let's look at this deck of cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this deck of cards up so that it goes from the ace to the king. Okay? So we're good computer scientists. The card with offset 0 is the king. Card with offset 1 is the queen. 2 is the jack. So I'm going to count from 0. And the card at offset 12 is the ace. And if for some reason you don't know your cards, I have them over here on the side to help you see where things are at. But what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle this deck, cut this deck 3 times. And when we cut it 3 times, we're guaranteed that the card that the customer, the person picked, which we put on the bottom, will magically be on the top. Well, it's not really magically, it's mathematically, but we'll take it. So, the trick here is the only restraint is that the number of the split, of the cut, has to be 7 or larger. It has to be bigger than half of our 13 cards. So let's do this with the number 7. So let's assume this is our deck of cards and the person picked the ace and it's on the bottom, and I say, well, how many cards would you like me to take off the top? And they say, let's say they say 7. So let's take 7 off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we throw the rest of the deck on top. We do that once. We're going to do it again. And we're going to take, their number was 7, so we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and throw the rest of the deck on top. Now remember, this is the dirty lowdown triple deal, so we'll do it a 3rd time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and throw the deck on top. Now once we do that, bet $1 million that card is the card you picked, the ace of spades. I'm $1 million richer. Right. Maybe not. But let's do this over one more time because I'm going to get the cards in order. So now we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? That's our regular deck of cards, regular ordered deck of cards, ace through. Now, let's assume the student or the customer says, well, I'm not going to pick the 7, I'm going to pick 8 as my number. I'm like, oh man, let's try 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we throw the deck of cards on the top. We put them back together. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and put the deck on top. And remember, this is the dirty lowdown triple deal, so it's the 3rd time through the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Throw the deck on top. Now, I'll bet you your grade. That's an ace of spades. If it's the ace of spades, I win. Look at that. Now, you might be saying, wow, how did that work? And as I say, this is not magic. This is mathematics, which to some people is the same thing. Do I have the 8? Where's my 8? There it is. So now I have the deck in this order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deal these face up. I'm going to try and do it in slow motion. I'm going to try and make sure I keep my hands in front of the camera at all times. Remember, the ace is at n-1 or 12 offset. So now we're going to take, well, we tried 7, we tried 8, so now we should try 9. So we're going to take 9 cards off, but I'm going to put them face up so you'll always know where something is at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to put the rest of the deck on top. I'll turn them over in a bit. But what we do know, remember that the ace was at offset 12, n-1, because there's 13 cards. And then we took 9 cards away. So it should be at offset 3, right? 12 minus 9 should be 3. And if we look at this, we go, this is offset 0, this is offset 1, this is offset 2, this is offset 3, and of course it is the ace of spades. We'll leave it face up because we like the ace of spades. Now, we're going to cut the deck one more time. Now, the thing that confuses a lot of people is that the first, if the card we're looking at is less than our cut size, which in this case is 9, well, if the card was in 0 offset, it's going to be at n-1. If card is at 1 offset, it's going to be at n-2. So it's basically at whatever its offset was, n-1 minus its offset. So this is, we're going to go 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's our ace, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and throw the rest of the deck on top. Now here's what's interesting. Remember, it was at offset, before it was at offset 0, 1, 2, 3. Now it's at offset n-1, n-2, n-3, n-4. What is n-4? Well, n is 13, minus 4 is 9. And how much are we going to cut this deck at? Oh, 9. So when we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what card is now on the top of the deck? It's the ace of spades. So it's guaranteed to be the ace of spades. There is no way that that could be anything but the ace of spades. The other thing about this card trick is, well, let's do the math. Let me pause this camera and take you to a text editing screen. So let me pause this. Okay, so when we started this deck, we had n cards. So n is equal to the number of cards in the deck, and that's 13. Okay? Now, if I did this with 52, it would have worked just as well, but our m is the size of the cut. So the first time we did this, our cut was size 8. We showed it for 7, 8, and 9, I'm sorry. But I picked a 13 size deck because if it's 52 cards, I didn't want to go through 52. But it has to be greater than or equal to n divided by 2. Okay? So when we start the card trick, the card of choice is at position offset n-1. Now, once we take m cards off the deck, well, now it's at n-1 minus m, because it just got moved closer to the front of the deck. Now, that remember, the trick was that if on the next cut, since it was less than m, anything that was at position 0 is now at n-1. Anything that was at position 1 is now at n-1 minus 1. If it was at position Q, it would be n-1 minus Q. So after the second cut, we're at n-1 minus wherever can't type. Well, where were we before? We were at try and get my columns lined up. We were at n minus 1 minus m. Right? That's where we were. It's right here. It's right there. So we just plug that in. Well, let's do some math, and we'll get rid of that minus sign in the parenthesis. So now we have n minus 1 minus n plus 1 plus m after 2 cuts. Now that's a little hard to read. Let's get rid of the n and the 1. And so now the n minus 1 and the minus n plus 1 will cancel, and after 2 cuts, the card of choice is at offset m. And we're going to do a third cut. Well, when we do the third cut, it's at wherever it was minus m. Well, that's at offset 0. So no matter what someone picked for the cut size, it was going to be at offset 0. The trick was we had to get to this kind of thing where the m is greater than or equal to half of the deck, so that we did this kind of funny math in the middle. But it's guaranteed, no matter what we do, that we're always going to be on the top of the deck. Okay? So, let's see if, let's do it one more time. Hit this pause. And now we'll do it one more time, but let's pick offset 12. So let's show the deck is all. Let's see if it gets in focus better. The ace. The lighting isn't great. But let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and throw the deck on top. That's cut 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and throw the 1 on top. And let's do it one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and throw the last one on top. And of course now, it's the ace. So, I hope that you figured out that this really isn't a magic trick. It's a mathematical property. You can do this with your friends if you have a little brother, a little sister. You want to tell your parents what you learned in college. Just make sure that, 1, the person picks the size of the deck divided by 2 or bigger. So if you use 52 cards, they have to pick a number greater than 26. 26 or better. If it's easier if you do 13 cards, and then they just have to pick the number 7 or bigger. And once you do that, it works fine. So this will work with my grandson can do this trick. But the idea here is, once you understand how the trick works, you own it and you go, yeah, it's pretty lame. And that's the point. We want you to get to these algorithms where you go, oh, that's pretty lame. I know how to do that. Because once you own it, you own it. So anyway, hope that was fun and helpful.